Do you want your IS300 to sound like this? Or what about like this? In this video, we're going to show you guys how to modify the stock IS300 fuel pump hanger for boost. You'll notice this fuel pump hanger has been a little bit modified already, but in stock form, the siphon valve will be attached to this pinched pipe here, right where the hose is. The first thing you're going to want to do after you pull the hanger out of the car is take it apart. As you can see, there's tabs here. You want to pop these off. There's a couple all around the circumference. Once you pop this off, in stock form, you'll have your wiring here connected to the fuel pump. In this case, it's already been snipped because the fuel pump has got different wiring. But you'll want to unplug your fuel pump. It plugs into here. And then your next step will be to pull the fuel pump out of this assembly. You do so by, again, popping these tabs off here at the bottom. Now the next step will be your first actual modification to the hanger assembly. You're going to want to fill this little tube here with fuel putty or JB Weld, and then before it dries, while it's still wet, you want to pinch it shut. This will give you a little bit better of an idea what it should look like when you're done. Obviously, the best way to do this is to weld it, but the other ways are well documented to work. Now we can actually modify the top of the hanger assembly. You're going to want to drill a hole here for your bulkhead fitting. In this case, it's a -6 line using a 9/16 hole. And when you do end up, what you'll want to do is obviously drill your hole and then put your bulkhead fitting in. Once you do put your bulkhead fitting in, you're going to want to epoxy it so it looks a little something like this. If you're going to be using ethanol, you need to use this epoxy here. Another important thing while you have this out is the direction that this is facing. Notice that it's facing kind of in between these two holes here. You want the same thing to do. You want this side to do the same thing, kind of face this way. That way, once you put this in the car, it will be very easy to plumb it. So now that you have the fuel pressure regulator modified, the next step is going to be to modify the jet valve or siphon valve, whatever you want to call it. Now, this is an example of what happens to regular rubber hose in ethanol, so you should make sure that you use ethanol rated hose. This line right here goes to the left side of the tank, and in some online directions that you see, people drill out a hole through here. That is not necessary. Do not do that. This is plenty of flow for even two large pumps like this. Another common thing that you need to make note of is this rubber washer inside of here. You want to make sure you do not lose that. You will need it, and if you don't have it, you'll have leaks, internal leaks. And another one is actually missing on my application here, but in this little plastic piece here where the fuel pump sits into, there should be another plastic or there should be another rubber bushing down there that kind of dampens the vibrations from the fuel pump. Lastly, before you put this together, you'll need to wire in your fuel pump. That should be pretty obvious if you've gotten this far. And that's it. You have successfully modified your fuel pump hanger for the IS300. What a lot of people do is kind of just mount this just like that, and you're ready to put it back in the tank.